All right, so today we are going to do our Friday warm-up and then turn it in, right? The UI eligibility check is supposed to be today, so make sure you're passing by today. If you need to turn some stuff in or whatever, let me know. You do need to turn in your parallel lines cut by transversal assignment from this week. And then today's warm-up, you're going to write in complete sentences, okay? You want to write a complete sentence or two explaining what you remember about slope. Now, let's see. What do y'all remember about slope? And headphones, please. Okay. Then don't do this. Do your quiz. Do your quiz. Okay. So if we have mx plus b, now mx plus b is not slope, but slope is in it. Which one is the slope? M, right? I don't know who said that. Sorry. M is your slope. That's one thing you can say. Now, slope is also something over something. Do y'all remember? Rise over run. That's another thing that slope is. You can write that down. Okay. Think about a mountain, right? Mrs. Marrero would always say slope is like a mountain. Now, if you're going up a very tall mountain, what's the word you would use? Man, this is, yeah, steepness, right? Here I am as a stick person going up this mountain. Okay. Man, this is steep. Right? The steeper it is, the bigger the slope. The flatter it is, the less slope, right? So those are some things you could say. I don't want you to write this down. I want you to write a complete sentence explaining what slope is in your own words, okay? You could talk about rise over run. You could talk about M. You could talk about steepness. That's fine. But just write a sentence or two, okay? I'll give you a minute, and then you need to, once you're done, you can pass that to the front, and then we're going to do these notes that you grabbed on the way in. All right, you should have this, Sushi on it, the original soup on. Right, and then both headphones, please. It says, what is the rule for parallel lines? Now, y'all know what parallel lines look like? Right? They're parallel. How do I know they're parallel? By looking at them. They don't cross, they don't intersect, right? Now, here's the deal. We're going to graph this first line right here, and then we're going to make another line right here and graph that. And they're both going to be parallel. So this is going to be a throwback to Algebra 1, graphing equations. Now, if you had Algebra 1 last year, that may have been tough to do over Zoom, I understand, but we're going to get to it now, right? So here's the rule for parallel lines. Unless you're taking a quiz, then you need to do your quiz. So what is the rule for the parallel lines? You are going to keep the slope. Do not change the slope. But you are going to change the y-intercept to any other number. So y'all know y equals mx plus b. The slope is m. The y-intercept is b, right? So you're going to keep the m, whatever that is, the exact same, but you're going to change that b to something else, okay? So before we do that, we need to do what? Graph this line. This is our first thing we're going to do. Now up top, I want you to write these steps, okay? How do you graph? Okay, step 1, plot the y-intercept. Step 2, use the slope. Okay. Now, this is something I like to say. The B is for beginning. You begin at the B. You don't begin at the slope, you begin at the B, the y-intercept, okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, mx plus b, what do I graph first here? The m or the b? The b. Headphones, please. What's the b? 3. Does everyone see 3 as the y-intercept? You got to graph the y-intercept first on the y-axis, up and down. Okay? So, on the y-axis, the vertical axis, starting at 0, if it's a positive 3, do I go up or down? Up. Okay, so from 0, count up 3 and put a point there. So let's do that. Here's 0, 1, 2, 3, put a point. Okay, so everybody's plotting that point. I plot my B from beginning first. Then I'm going to use my slope. Now, real quick, slope is what over what? Okay, rise over run. I'm going to write that over here. Slope is rise over run. And y'all know rising means up and down, running means left and right, right? Like if I was crouched down on the ground and there was a fire drill like yesterday, I would have to rise or run or walk top the building, right? So, same idea. Rising is vertical. Now, our slope says negative. So that's a negative 4. Sounds weird, but you're going to have to rise negative 4. Which direction is that? Down, okay? Now, when I say rise down, doesn't make any sense. But that's what we're talking about, a vertical change to down 4, okay? So everyone, put your pencil at that 3 you just graphed and go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my rise was negative 4. My run is 5, right? So go to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You always run to the right, okay? Think of it like an old school. Actually, I see the mobile games y'all play. It's like always going to the right, okay? You're always running to the right. However, your rise can go either up or down. Okay, so now everyone should have a ruler. If you have one of these squishy ones, it'll get you up. But using your ruler, make a nice straight line. Okay, so connect the 2 points. Now, check me out. Even I have a ruler. Look at the screen. You can get a new one in that bin right there. All right, so what am I going to do? I'm going to line up my 2 points, hold it tight, and then use my pencil to make a nice straight line. Yes. This program has a little ruler on it, so you're going to use your ruler. 2 points. Okay? Last class, some people were just connecting between them. Don't pass it. Okay? Make a nice long line. So positive 3, and we went down 4. Right 5. Beautiful. That's a line. But one line isn't parallel. I need 2 lines, right? So make sure you're doing your quiz. Now I'm going to write an equation. Now we just talked about this up here. What do I do to the slope? Keep the slope, right? And what do I do to the y-intercept? What am I doing? Okay, changing it. So here's the deal. When I say change, it means just change the number to something else. So let's rewrite a new equation here. So y equals the same slope, which is what? Real quick. What's the slope? Negative 4 over 5. Okay. X. Now, here's where it changes. Plus 3, any other number. Now, you want it to be on the graph, so like, what's another number we could use? 7 is fine. Let's do 7, okay? So put plus 7. Okay, does everyone see? The only thing I changed was right here. Now, we're going to graph this. What do I graph first, the M or the B? The B, right? You got to know this. So the B is what? 7, right? So everybody, let's put a point at 7 on the y-axis, okay? So I'll put my pencil at 0. I'm going to count up to 7 because it's positive. 4, 5, 6, 7. Put a point there. So again, mx plus b. B first for beginning. Now I'm going to use my m. It's the same slope. The same slope is negative 4 over 5. Which way do I rise for negative 4 over 5? Down 4, and then I do what? Always to the right, right 5. So start at that new point and go down 4, to the right 5, put a point there. Oops, I did not go down far enough. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. And then use your ruler and make a nice straight line. It should look parallel. Since it's the same slope, the same steepness, it's going to just be not going to intersect. As long as we have a different line or something. Okay? I know it says different color. Doesn't need to be different color. It is what it is. Hopefully some of this is kind of familiar from Algebra 1. Either way, this is how it's done. Let's do another one. Okay, let's go down below. The equation we just did looks a little bit different than this one. How is this equation different? Is this y equals mx plus b? There's a y equals, but there's something else on the side with y. This is my mx kind of, right? So that's on the wrong side. Now, we're going to get some practice doing this, but you need to be able to solve for y if you have an equation that doesn't have y equals. So let me show you. This is a one-step problem. What I want you to do is kind of rewrite this up here so we have some room to solve. All right, everyone's with me? So I rewrote the equation. Negative 4x plus y equals negative 5. All right, so check it out. I want y by itself. Does everyone see the negative 4x needs to go away? So I'm going to do the opposite of a negative 4x. What's the opposite of negative? Positive. So I'm going to add 4x right here. And I have to do it on the other side right here. Now, everyone focus. This is very important. This is where people goof up. You see how this says 4x? And this is negative 5, and there's no x? These are not the same thing, right? They don't match. You can't combine these together, okay? This is like mx, and this is like b. They're different. They're not one thing, right? So here's the deal. This mx needs to go in front of that constant negative 5. So here's what I like to do when I'm solving for y. I like to put a little arrow to remind myself this is going to go right there. The 4x is going to go in front of the minus 5. Let's write our equation. I'm going to bring down y, bring down equals. 4x goes in front, minus 5 goes after. Doesn't that look like mx plus b now? Okay. But if you put like negative 5 plus 4x, that's kind of switched, right? So again, when you're solving for y, you might have to kind of think of squeezing that up front. Okay? Now, next thing, don't we usually see mx plus b, or m, isn't it usually a rise over run fraction? 4 is not a fraction. Can we turn 4 into a fraction? If it's a whole number, it's 4 over 1, right? Now, if that helps you, please do that, okay? Because some people are just going to go up 4 and not run. You got to rise and run, right? So if it helps you, if you see a whole number, put it over 1, 4 over 1. Cool. Now, first step, I need to graph this, okay? So I'm going to graph this equation right here. All right, y'all are going to get sick of hearing me ask this. What do I graph first, m or b for mx plus b? B for beginning. Cool? So the b is what on my new equation? Does everyone see it's right here, the minus 5? So is that above or below 0? Below. So put your pencil at 0, 0, and we're going to go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I got my b value plotted. So once I get b, now I'm going to use my m. What's my slope? Real quick. What's my slope here? 4 over 1. So put your pencil at that point you just made. We're going to rise over run. Rise 4, positive is up. Run 1, it's always to the right. So again, what did I do? I plotted the b at -5, and then I rise over run. Now that you have 2 points, use that ruler, make a nice straight line, okay? Pull out my digital ruler, line it up, and then make a nice straight line. Now that's just one line. That's not it, right? I need 2 lines for it to be parallel. Can y'all remind me from the top of these notes? What am I gonna change? What am I gonna keep? What do I do to the slope? Do I keep it or change it? Keep the slope the same, the 4 over 1x. What do I do with the y-intercept though? Change it to some other number, doesn't matter, okay? So let's go and start writing our equation. We zoom in here, okay, here we go. So we have y equals the same slope, 4 over 1, x, and then I have to change the -5. What, any other number, what do y'all think? Six. Let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sure. +6, right? That'll work. The only thing is if it's too high, it'll go off the grid, but that's fine. Okay. So 6 works. So let's go ahead and now, what do we grab first? M or B? B for the beginning, right? So B is the 6. Let's go ahead and put 6 on the y-axis. It's positive, so it's above 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then my slope, rise over run, right? So rise 4, run 1. So from that point, I'm going to rise 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. The exact same rise over run. And then what am I going to do? Use my ruler and make a nice straight line. Same color is fine, but doesn't that look parallel? It should. All right, this is the most important part, so I need everyone in class here for this part, okay? Did anyone need the bottom part still? We're gonna flip it over. I'll leave that up there for one more second. Flip it over to the back, then talk about perpendicular. Now, make sure you grab the new one, put a point at 6, and plus 6. Put a point at plus 6, and up 4 over 1. All right, so we are going to flip it over onto the perpendicular side. Ready? The back side is going to be different. right, flip it over, please. All right, let's talk about perpendicular. I need everyone staying in class for this because this is the hard part for some people. What are the two rules for perpendicular? Now, this word, we've talked about it a little bit. Is everyone looking up here? Are you doing a quiz? Then grab the notes, please. Okay, well, we're on the back. So perpendicular looks like this. Go ahead and draw yourself a little picture. What kind of angles do perpendicular lines make? Right angles are 90-degree angles, like the corner of your piece of paper, right? Perpendicular lines. So this is super important. So is everyone writing this down? Looking up here, okay? The two changes are going to be the slope. Blank the slope and blank the sine. So here we go. Here are the two changes you got to know, okay? You're going to flip the slope and change the sine. Let's go ahead and write that down, please. Flip the slope, change the sine. These are two separate changes. If I see a phone in your hand, I won't have to get up and ask you to take it off. Please just put it away. Thank you so much. So, flip the slope, change the sign. Now, how many of y'all have heard this phrase, opposite reciprocal or negative reciprocal? Okay. So, I'm going to write that off to the right here. This is the math phrase that we use, opposite reciprocal, R-E-C-I-P-R-O-C-A-L, reciprocal. Now, that's just a fancy way of saying what we just filled in the blanks. Opposite means change the sign. Reciprocal means flip. And that's what we already said. Flip the slope, that's your reciprocal. Change the sign, that's your opposite. Okay? The reason why I don't say negative reciprocal is because it doesn't always turn into a negative. Negatives turn into a positive. So you just change the sign, okay? All right. So before we mess with this equation, we have to do what? Graph it. Again, I'm going to ask the same question. What do I graph first? mx plus b. Is it the m or the b? The b for beginning, okay? So I don't graph this m first, I graph this b, the plus 2, okay? On the y-axis, up and down. So starting at 0, positive 2 is up 2. So go ahead and put a point. Hold on one second. This computer is being weird. All right, here we go. Up 2, put a point right there. Cool. So b first. Now I'm going to do the m, the negative 3 over 4. Now you tell me which way is negative 3 over 4 going to go? Up or down first? Down, and it always goes to the right. Okay? So negative 3 over 4 means down 3, right 4. So go ahead and put your pencil at that positive 2 right there, and go down 3. 1, 2, 3, and then to the right 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? B first, then slope. Negative is down to the right. Once you have those 2 points, your ruler will help you make a nice straight line. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness gracious. I'm just wanting this to not screw up. There we go. Okay, here we go. Perfect. Ish. Now, there's my original line. Now I need to make a perpendicular line. What two things? Okay, so I'm going to write the slope. Everybody, go ahead. I like to do this to show my work, okay? My original slope is negative 3 over 4, okay? But I don't want that slope. I want the new perpendicular slope. Go ahead and write P-E-R-P, perp, for perpendicular, not purple, nothing else, okay? So negative 3 over 4. And ladies and gentlemen, I have to flip it and change the sign. Both changes. Too many times I see people only flip it or they only change the sign. You gotta do both. So let's do that. Negative is gonna become what? Positive. 3 over 4 flips to make 4 over 3. So off to the right here, I'm gonna put positive 4 over 3. You don't have to put a little plus sign to show that it's positive. You could just write 4 over 3. Do you see the two changes there? This, for some reason, this is the hardest part. Once you get this, the equation's not bad. Now, let me make a little note here. Put right here, B doesn't matter. B doesn't matter. Here's what I mean. We're going to change the slope. You don't have to change the B. Okay? On the front side of the page, we had to change the B, right? But on this one, you can leave it as a +2. Doesn't matter. You can change it, or you can leave it the same. It's almost easier just to leave it the way it was, right? So we're just going to leave that +2 the exact same, since it doesn't matter. But the slope must be 4 over 3. Okay? There's my new M. B doesn't matter. So let's write a new equation. Here we go. Ready? Y equals, what's my new slope? 4 over 3. X. And you can use the same B, +2. Okay? Does everyone see the two changes in the slope? The y-intercept is the same. Now we can graph it. Don't get this wrong this time. What do I graph first, M or B? B for beginning, right? Which one's the B? The 2, right? MX plus B, right? So go ahead and put a point at 2. You'll notice you already have a point there, right? You're starting at the same point. You want to put your pencil right there at 2. But this time your slope is going to rise over run what? Up 4, right 3. Okay, put your pencil right here at 2. Same y-intercept. But you're going to rise 4, run 3. It's positive, so it's up 4. And always to the right, 3. Can you connect those 2 points? Make a nice perpendicular intersection there. Use your ruler. Mine's a little off. But when you do it, it should make a very close to right looking angle, okay? If yours doesn't look like a right angle, you might have counted wrong or plotted a point wrong or something, okay? But that's how you do perpendicular. You've got to change the sign and flip the fraction. Okay? Now the next one is kind of like the second one on the front page. This one is not y equals, right? You see how that minus 3x is hanging out on the side? Don't we need it to be just y? So I need to get rid of a minus 3x, right? How do I move the minus 3x? What's the opposite? Adding, right? So everybody, here's what I'd like for you to do. Go ahead and rewrite this where you have some more room. Negative 3x plus y equals negative 4. And like we just said, we want to get rid of a minus 3x. We want to do the opposite. The opposite of the negative 3x is what? Plus, adding 3x. So let's do that. I'm going to put it right here, plus 3x. And if I do it on the left, I'm going to do it on the right. So plus 3x. Don't remember on the front side, what am I going to, do these combine? One has an x and one doesn't. So this needs to squeeze up here, right? Kind of put it in front of the minus 4. I like to show that with a little arrow to remind myself this is squeezing up in here, okay? These cancel. let's bring down y equals, the 3x is going to go first, write this down, and then the minus 4 goes after it. So this original equation is now this. So it's y equals mx plus b, but m isn't a fraction. It's just 3. Can I make it a fraction? 3 over 1, right? Again, write that if it helps you. If you know it, you don't have to write it, but everybody, you got to know a whole number is over 1, okay? So 3 over 1 kind of helps me out. That's cool. Before we change it, let's graph it like it says. Y'all are sick of hearing me say this. Mx plus b. Do I graph m or b first? B for beginning, right? Everyone's hearing me? So b for beginning. What's my b value? Is that above or below 0? Below, right? So start at 0 and let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a point there. And then my slope is 3 over 1, right? Right. So up 3, right 1 because it's positive. Up 3, right 1. And then I'm going to use my ruler to make a nice looking straight line. Now remember, for perpendicular slope, I have to change the sign, flip the fraction. That's called opposite reciprocal. So go ahead and write your slope, 3 over 1. I'm going to write perp, perpendicular. What 2 changes are going to happen? What do y'all think happens here? Okay, flip the fraction, and then it's positive, so make it a negative. So negative 1 over 3. Okay, so that's my new m, right? My new m. And the b can stay the same, right? Negative 4. If you want to change it, go for it. Okay, you don't have to. Here we go. Let's go ahead and write this equation. Y equals mx plus b. So y equals, what am I going to write for my new m? Right, negative 1 over 3. X, and then the y-intercept can still be minus 4. Go ahead and put a point at that minus 4. It's the same y-intercept below 0 down here. I'm going to do it in blue. And then our new slope, negative 1 over 3. Which direction does that go? What? Down 1, and then right 3. It always goes to the right when you run. So down 1 from here, negative 4, down 1, right 3. And then you can use your ruler to make a nice line with the slope negative 1 over 3, starting at negative 4. And it should look like a right angle, and it does. It's perpendicular. All right, one more. Now, is this next one ready to graph already, or is there something I got to get rid of on the y side? The 6, right? Let's go ahead and rewrite this. Up here. Okay, 6y equals 5x. Do y'all see that 6y is the 6 is a coefficient, it's being multiplied? What's the opposite of multiplying? Divide by 6. So I'm left with y equals 5 over 6x. That's it. There's no b. What do you think b has to be if there's no b? Does that make sense? Nothing means 0, right? So that means, yeah, your b is right here at 0, 0. Could you graph 5 over 6? Okay. And then can you write a new equation? by flipping 5 over 6 and changing the sign? I want you to graph the original, and I want you to graph a new one and write the equation. I'll give you a minute. So like we just said, positive becomes a negative. 5 over 6 becomes 6 over 5. That's your new m. And your b of nothing can still be the b of nothing if you wanted to, or you can change it. Doesn't matter. I think so. So check it out. Y equals negative 6 over 5 x. And that's it. You can leave it like that. Which means the b value is nothing, which is at 0, same point in the middle. So I'm going to graph the original one, up 5 over 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I'm going to use my ruler to connect these. And then I'm going to graph the new one, add 0, 0. If the slope is negative 6 over 5, negative 6 is which way? Down 6. And then I'm going to run 5. Again, if you use your ruler, you're going to get a nice perpendicular line, perpendicular pair that makes a right angle, okay? So those notes are going to help you with the assignment on Monday. Try not to forget this over the weekend, and don't lose your notes, okay?